Module 4 first part, that is packages and interface. Under this topic we will discuss what do you mean by package, what do you mean by interfaces, how to write package, how to write interface, how to use packages and how to use interfaces. So first we'll discuss what do you mean by packages. So packages are containers for the class that are used to keep the class namespace compartmentalized. Means what? Compartmentalized means what? So when you compile a Java program, it will create what? Class file, dot class file, right? So that class file, dot class file must be placed in a folder. That folder is nothing but your package. So when you require that class to be bring, say you can bring it to the your current running application. The package is both naming and visibility control mechanism. That indicates that, so if there are say multiple class with the same name, then it is difficult to access. Then it is better to place that classes in different directories called packages. And it is a visibility control mechanism. Means what? So if you want to bring a class or set of class, it is left to you, and depending on the requirement, then you whether you want to bring the all the classes or very few, then you can use the packages to it. So for that reason it is called a visibility control mechanism. So you can define classes inside a package that are not accessible by the code outside that package. So using access protection and with the help of packages, say you can uh, specify whether you want to access it outside the packages or not. So you can also define a class members that are only exposed to the other members of the same packages using the access protection. Now, how to define the package? So include package command as the first statement in the Java source file. That indicates that when you're writing Java program, the first statement in the Java program must be package. So any classes declared within that file will be belonging to same specified package. So any classes declared within the file called package, then all those classes are belonging to that specified package. If you omit the package statement in the class, or in the in the Java file, the class name are put into the default package which has no name. If the when you're writing a Java program, if you miss the package statement, then all the classes are belonging to a default package with no name. So now how to write that package statement? It is package pkg. I'm going to say one example, say package my package. That indicates that your package name is called my package. So Java uses file system directory to store package. That indicates that, so packages means what? You're creating your own directory. The dot class files for any classes you declare to be the part of my package must be stored in a directory called my package. That indicates that all the classes that is dot class files where the first statement is say my package, package my package, that indicates that you need to save all those dot class files in a package called my package. The general form of multi-level package statement is shown here, that is package pkg1 dot pkg2 dot pkg3. That indicates that pkg3 is present within pkg2, pkg2 is present within pkg1. One example, package java.awt.image. The image is present within awt is present within Java. That is nothing but multi-leveled package. So now, once you copy the class file to a package, say directory called MyPack. Now how to access it or how to run it? That is by the help of package, that is java mypack.account balance. The account balance is nothing but name of the class. Once you get the compiled code, place that compiled code in the mypack. Now access it by using package called mypack, that is java mypack.account balance. Now access protection. So this access protection table describes whether it is possible to access the set of members outside the class or within the same class of the same package or subclass of the class which is present in the same package or not. So one example. So here a class called protection. Okay, it is having say 4 members. Again one more class called say derived, which extends protection, that is nothing but subclass of the class called protection. Both classes are present within same package called pkg1. Now whether that n data member n with no modifier is possible to access or not in class called derived. Now the modifier of the n is access modifier of n is no modifier. When there is no modifier, same package subclass, the answer is yes. That indicates that n can be accessed within class called derived. Why? Because it is subclass of protection and the access modifier is no modifier. So like that you can tell the answer for our remaining 3 datas. Now once package is defined with the set of class, now how you can bring that package entire package or set of classes of that package into your current application, that is by the help of import statement. So Java includes import statement to bring the certain classes or entire package into the visibility. For that reason, the import statement gives visibility control. So once imported, a class can be referred to directly using its name. That indicates that when you're bringing that class to your current application with the help of import statement, then you can refer that class by the help of its name. If you're going to refer a few dozen classes in your application, however, import statement will save lot of typing. Why? Because otherwise, other than import statements, you need to type it again and again. For that reason, it saves lot of typing. So in a Java source file, import statement occurs immediately following the package statement. That indicates that first statement in the Java source file will be package. The next statement will be import statement. The general form of import statement is import pkg1.pkg2.class name or star. So one example, say import java.util.date. The date is a class which is present within util, that is utility, under Java. Or another example, Java import java.io.star. That dot star means bring all the classes which is present over that package into visibility. Now import java.util.star class myDate extends date. That is nothing but you are creating subclass of class called date which is present within java.util package. So without use of import statement, how you can bring it? Now class myDate extends java.util.date. Now without help of import statement, we are creating subclass of class called date. The date is present over a package called java.util. Now one more example, best example. So I am creating package called pack. Okay. So that pack contains a class called a.class, a compiled code. That class file that so program contains a method called msg. Its definition is filled. It will just display hello. Now I want to bring that package into my application, so which is written in the right side. For that reason, the statement is import pack.star. That indicates that bring entire package into the visibility, or you can write only import pack.a. Why? Because it contains only a class called a. Now so in this application, say class b, that is class and which is having main method and creating object of class A directly. So here you can refer that class A directly. Why? Because that entire package is coming to visible here. Why? Because by the help of import statement. Now MSG method is called with the help of object of A. Next topic is interfaces. So under this topic we'll discuss what do you mean by interface, how to define interface, how to use interface. So interfaces are syntactically similar to classes, but they lack instance variables and their methods are declared without body. That indicates that interface syntactically similar to class, but there is no instance variable. Why? Because it is incomplete. Why they incomplete? Because their methods are declared without body. Uh, Once it is defined, any number of class can implement an interface. That indicates that once a interface is defined, any number of class can implement that interface. So one class can implement any number of interfaces. That is nothing but, so one class can implement any number of interface. It is called say multiple inheritance. Say Java supports a multiple inheritance with the help of interfaces. To implement an interface, a class must create a complete set of methods defined by the interface. That indicates that when a particular class implement a interface means what? It must define all the methods which are present in that interface. Each class is free to determine the details of its own implementation. That indicates that if a particular class implements a interface, it is having set of methods, right? Interface. Now that definition must be filled by that class, and how to fill it, it is left to the class. Now how to define interface? Access modifier, interface, name of the interface. Later you need to write abstract methods, that is method without body, return type, name of the method, parameter list and semicolon. Later you can write the final variable if it is required. So one example, interface callback, and it is having method called abstract method called callback. Now how to implement it? So syntax is given here. Say class name, extends superclass, implements interface and interfaces. List of interfaces. Means when you're creating subclass and you're implementing some interface, means first statement you need to write the extend keyword and superclass. Later you need to write the implement statement and followed by the list of interfaces. So example, class client implements callback. That interface is written no in the beginning, that is implemented by the client. Implemented by the client means what? The definition of that callback method must be filled by the class called client. So it is defined here. Public void callback int p, system dot out println callback and called with value of p. So one more example, interface printable is having one abstract method called print. Now class A6 implements printable. Implements printable means what? The definition of that print must be filled by the class called A6. Now creating the object of class A6 and using the object of the class A6, you are accessing that print. One more example for multiple inheritance. So there are two interfaces, printable and showable. Printable is having print method, showable is having show method, abstract method without body. Now class A7 implements printable comma showable. While implementing more than one interface, you need to use comma in between. Now implementing both interface means what? It must fill the definition of print and it must fill the definition of show. Now create the object of class A7. Using that object of A7, access the method called print, access the method called show. Accessing implementation through interface reference variable. Now it is not possible to create the object with respect to a interface. Now using the interface reference variable, you can access the method. How? So here is one example, interface drawable. Drawable is having method called draw. Now class circle implements drawable Implements drawable means what? It must fill the definition of draw. It is filled. Now another class called test interface 1, creating the reference variable of drawable, it is D, and it is pointing to of type circle. Now d dot draw means what? It will access the method which is present under circle. Draw method of circle. Why? Because drawable D is pointing to circle. Now this call will resolve during runtime. So now to resolve the call during runtime, you can use the interface reference variable like this. So another example. So interface bank is written. So it is having say one method, abstract method called rate of interest, and there are say two more classes, SBA and PNB. SBA and PNB implements bank interface that indicates that it must fill the definition of rate of interest. Rate of interest value with respect to SBI it is 9.115. Rate of interest with respect to PNB it is 9.7. Now bank B means it is reference variable with respect to interface bank, and if it is pointing to SBI and you are accessing the rate of interest with the help of that reference variable means what? It will display or it will get the rate of interest with respect to SBI. If that B is pointing to PNB, then the rate of interest will be written will be 9.7. With respect to this current example, it will return value that is 9.15. Why? Because bank B, that is reference variable of interest, sorry, reference variable of bank B is pointing to SBI. Interfaces can be extended. Means what? You can create subclass of, you can create sub interface of interface called interfaces. So here is interface called printable, and interface showable extends printable means what? You are creating sub interface of interface called printable. Now that showable is having method called show and printable is having method called print. Now a class implements showable will get two method, that is print and show. Now the class called say test interface 4 must implement both print and show method. Create the object of test interface 4 using that object access print and show method. So next topic it is partial implementation. Means what? When you're using interface, if the interface is having say two method, it must a class which implement that interface must define all that method. Now with the help of abstract class, you can restrict it by, so here in this example we implemented or we define only print method. Why? Because it is abstract class. With the help of this, say you can implement partial implementation of the interface. So another topic it is nested interface. Nested interface means a interface is defined within a interface or within a class. Now such interface is called member interface or nested interface. The nested interface can be declared as a public or private or protected. Now when that nested interface is written, now how to access it outside of that interface or class? Now that interface name must be used with the help of the class or with the help of interface where it is reside. Means, so here is one example, class A consisting of nested interface called nested if, and you're using that interface with the help with the class B. Means say class B implements nested if. Now that nested if is present within class A, for that reason the first statement is say class B implements A dot nested if. So this is the end of the first part. So in the second part we'll discuss multi-threaded program. Thank you.